Welcome, Lacrosse fans. The 2025 season is upon us, and it's a rainy, wet, and nasty start. Some lacrosse people would tell you this is exactly the way the season should start, and we've got two passionate fan bases, two strong programs, the Lynchburg Hornets hosting the Gettysburg Bullets. Hello, everybody. Kyle Haney with my guy, Joe Brennan, Joey B. Wow, still got some love in the air from Valentine's Day. No love lost between these two squads, and they're going to pick up a rivalry that has seen some, not a lot of meetings, but definitely some interesting games, including Game 1 last year. We'll open up the lacrosse season again with Gettysburg and Lynchburg. Wow, my friend, it is here.
It is here. We've waited for it for a long time, but Division III lacrosse starts here in the Hill City as the Hornets welcome the Gettysburg Bullets. Kyle, you mentioned it, a brief history between these two teams. This will be the 8th meeting since 2013. The Hornets down in this series 2-5, including a loss at the hands of the Bullets a season ago, on the road to open this season, a 10-15 game that really got Gettysburg's season started on the right note and on the wrong foot for Lynchburg. But towards the end of the season, those two teams finished in very different places.
Great point there. Gettysburg got the win up in Pennsylvania last year. They finished the season 10-8. They did not make the NCAA tournament. That broke a run of 4 straight postseason appearances. Lynchburg finishes the year 15-6. 9 seasons of 15 wins or more for Steve Kudelka. It's 4 in a row there. A lot of Lynchburg people will talk about the 2015 game in the NCAA semifinals between these two squads. That's a memorable one that we can revisit here today. That's one that these two teams really remember. But for Gettysburg, I mean, what a tradition. 37 consecutive winning seasons, Joe. Just saying that is kind of shocking. 37 straight years of winning seasons. But yes, 10-8 last year. Probably didn't meet their expectations. For Lynchburg, we know about their winning tradition. Can they continue that this year? They will have a lot to replace. Both teams are kind of in the same mixture, Joe, where they are bringing a lot back, but they also have some key people to replace as well.
Without a doubt. But if we take a look at the numbers from a season ago, you can see Lynchburg dominates really across the board. The assist column really the only place where Gettysburg has that slight edge. And although Gettysburg got the win last season, it really was a dominant back half of the year for Lynchburg as they came away with a conference championship in the ODAC, and that's never an easy thing, Kyle.
No, it's really not, and obviously they lost on this field to Washington and Lee in the NCAA tournament, but that ODAC title really felt good for Lynchburg last year. Yeah, statistically, we know Lynchburg typically plays at the faster pace. They want to get a lot of rubber at the opposing goalie, and we'll see if that continues this year. Lynchburg has to replace so much on the defensive side, Joe, including the talented man that was in the cage for a couple seasons, Tyler Hadley, but you're going to lose defensive stalwarts, Darren Palma, Dom Zingo, Henry Merendon. All those guys are gone. So do you change your pace a little bit if you're Steve Kudelka? Do you try to give that defense a break and maybe they don't see as much? Maybe you do more 10-man ride, the lacrosse equivalent of a full court press. Do you use the attackers in the defense some and try to bother the other team on the clear? We'll see about all those things today. Another way to help out the defense is to win more faceoffs too, Joe. That'll be interesting at the X. Both teams will be breaking in new faceoff personnel, although we did see Lynchburg's Riley Frankel quite a bit last year at the dot to begin games and throughout games.
Well, Lynchburg brings in basically an entirely new defensive side. The offense practically all returning for Lynchburg. Over 70% of their goals from a season ago back in the red and white for the Hornets. And it'll be led by the midfielder, big number 57, Jake Russ, the 2-time All-American, led the team in goals a season ago with 49, enters this year as the sole Hornet to make an All-American team along with 3 honorable mentions. But it's Rust, the big guy to look out for the Lynchburg Hornets. But he's going to have a difficult matchup, especially if he gets a long pole on him today with the defensive talent that this Gettysburg team brings. That long pole you got to keep an eye on is no one else than Frank Barbera. Barbera came in this season on the first team All-American in the preseason coming off his second team selection a season ago. Really great at disrupting offenses, messing with their rhythm, and you do not want to see him get out in transition. Dangerous for this Gettysburg team.
He's going to be fun to watch. That defensive unit for Gettysburg in general is going to be tough, and yes, we'll see how Jake Rust and the rest of the Lynchburg attack can handle it. Looks like we're almost set for the national anthem, Joe, so we will meet you at the Face-Off X in just a moment. It's Gettysburg, it's Lynchburg, it's a top 20 matchup to begin the lacrosse season. It's coming your way next on LHSN and Lacrosse TV. Our first national anthem of the season in the books. We are live from Schellenberger Field in a soggy Central Virginia area. It's cold out there too, Joe. And we can talk about the weather some as the day goes on. I think first off, you look at the footing. That shouldn't be an issue. You look at those low shots. I think most players will tell you sometimes on the wet turf they will kind of skid a little bit. But now if the turf is just completely soaked, then it's just going to die right there. And then how loose do the sticks get as the game goes on? That's something that the old school players used to talk about more. I think the new technology with the mesh on the stick isn't as susceptible to the wet weather, but you used to hear about that a lot more, how the mesh would get a little bit loose, passing and shooting sometimes less accurate, but certainly something for us to watch for because it is nasty out there. It's a day where we are very glad to have this press box at Schellenberger Field.
Yeah, Kyle, I'll tell you what I've really got my eye on is how the ball bounces on these bounce shots.
Yeah.
A lot of them going to be low. Goalies need to be ready for it.
Yeah, and you saw in practice Coach Steve Kadelka working more of those low shots on the goalies just to make sure they were ready for the wet turf today. You assume Gettysburg did the same with their head coach in his fourth season, Peter Toner. He was 11 years as an assistant at Penn State and 4 years as the head at Gettysburg, a program which we have already pointed out, a lot of tradition, a lot of pedigree, and it's going to be a fun matchup for Lynchburg. Steve Kadelka entering his 29th season, Joe. That is another one that you just kind of marvel at his longevity and his success. Over 350 wins for Steve Kadelka. He's a Gettysburg alum, too, so he'll give you the coach speak and say, no, it's just another game, but always nice to beat your alma mater, right?
Oh, without a doubt, and he had a lot of accolades and achievement during his tenure with the Bullets, so certainly a familiar foe. With that being said, Kyle, let's take a look at today's starting lineups. First for the Lynchburg Hornets.
Well, we've talked about Jake Rust already. He's probably actually going to operate with the second unit offensively today, but you will see offensive stalwarts, Riley Hastings, Spencer Vandenberg. You know how talented they are. If you've been following Lynchburg Lacrosse, they've got some major assistants there with Finn Schmidt. Defensively, Sam Steele, Liam Haley, Kyler Mahoney is one that is well thought of. They think he's going to step in and really fill the void defensively. And Luke Meadows as well. He can operate in the midfield and on defense. And your new goalie this year, Andrew Miller, played 13 last year, Joe. We saw some great things from Andrew Miller. I think he is ready to step up and carry the mantle of guys like Tyler Hadley in the cage there. Expect big things from Andrew Miller.
No, but with that, I mean, he'll face a Gettysburg team that brings back a lot of production on the offensive end.
Yeah, like Lynchburg, Gettysburg also returns 8 of their top 10 goal scorers. You're going to get great offense up front from Jackson Hearn, Charlie Johnson, J.P. Mayo in the starting lineup, and Jack Dunleavy can really rip it from the midfield spot. He's one of those sideline to sideline, goal to goal guys. And look at this, we are ready to go. Watch out for the face-offs. This is an area that every lacrosse team wants to be good in. How about a face-off win to start the season for Riley Frankel? Frankel will turn the corner. He's mainly a Fogo face-off, get-off guy, but he did have 2 goals last year, and he looked like he wanted to do some sojourning to the cage that time. Now Riley Frankel will hustle off. Lynchburg will start the first possession as Grant Voigt will let everybody get set up just like that. Jake Rust on. So Rust and Voigt up top. They'll wait for the call from the sideline, and it is lacrosse season. It is a nasty start to it, but again, some fans and players and coaches would prefer it this way. You really get a tough test physically on a day like this.
And you can already start to tell how the weather's impacting the passing on the offensive end.
Scramble for it in the dirt. Nice job to escape danger right there for Gettysburg. The ball was free for a moment. Let's see how Lynchburg will operate in transition. Again, do they pressure and go with that 10-man ride? We get a little bit of an altercation on the far sideline over there. It looked like Riley Hastings plowed into the defender. Ready to restart with kind of a Gilman clear there, kind of just the old heave-ho to the other side. It nearly worked out for Gettysburg, but they will have to give up the possession on the pass that was just off target. Like the idea, though.
Yeah, but in these kind of conditions, that's a risky toss to make when you're just looking for any ounce of momentum in the early stages. You're basically giving Lynchburg a free clear, but nevertheless, they turn it right back over at midfield.
Well, you talked about passing and some of those things already looking sloppy. You see it, turnovers from both teams. Patrick Maroney hustling on to get in the offensive action for Gettysburg. He's one to watch as well. Bullet scoring on the cage to our left in the road blues with the orange. White lids for Gettysburg today as they'll get another substitute. Here's Stokes Myers. He'll try to get downhill. These guys for Gettysburg, they have so much talent. They can be dodgers and passers. Really well-rounded skill set for their scorers. They do not become predictable, Joe. Jack Dunleavy looks like he wants to start something topside. He'll pitch it over to the right. Lynchburg trying to stay rock solid, keep it all buttoned up on the defensive end.
It's been great so far defensively for Lynchburg. Really not a whole lot of room to operate for Gettysburg.
Yeah, Bullets looking for space. Charlie Johnson backing away. He'll start the long dodge up top again. 24 on the shot clock, not on your screen up there. Uh-oh, there is goal number 1. Andrew Miller got beaten on his left side, and Gettysburg leads early. First goal of our 2025 season. We'll get another look at it here, Joe. Looks like it was Stokes Myers. Came in there, got enough space, high velocity to get this one by Andrew Miller.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really fault the defense there too much. Obviously, despite being a young group, that's unfortunately just a wake-up moment for Miller and the Hornets, and certainly one they wish they could have back.
Another face-off win for Riley Frankel for Stokes Myers, senior from Nashville, Tennessee. Career game number 39. He scored 15 last year. He's already on the board this season. Uh-oh, Lynchburg lost the ball on that far sideline again. They were making the changes to get the offensive unit out, and the Hornets with a turnover. Pressure here, another high pass. Seems like Gettysburg's defense, that high pass, that long lobbed pass is more than just a one-time deal. It might be part of the strategy for Gettysburg. Riley Hastings directing traffic in your screen. There's Stokes Myers also there. He was the goal scorer. Gettysburg is going to get it back and try to restart this clear. Lynchburg already showing they want to pressure Gettysburg's clear. Put some heat on those defenders. Make them have to make some long on-target passes.
A good start here thus far. Certainly you can already tell that there's a whole lot of energy in the house here despite the weather conditions. I mean, this rain is dumping, coming down. The fans unfazed. A whole lot of umbrellas in attendance today, Kyle.
Good job by Andrew Miller to get low. Stymied that one right in front. And then Kyler Mahoney is going to get the breakout going for Lynchburg. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably overdoing it about the weather, but, man, it's nasty out there. I'm glad I'm not the only one talking about it. The Lynchburg fans, we know how passionate they are.
That was a great clear right there from the young freshman in Quincy White. He's someone that this coaching staff has really praised. Had a great preseason and fall.
Jake Rust, he'll stop you right in your tracks, Joe. He had Stokes Myers, the goal scorer for Gettysburg, on him. You give Jake Rust a shorty, and that's a problem. He lets it rip. Looks like he goes low. Goalie's left, his right. Jake Rust has got all the angles, all the shots. Can't wait to show you this one again. Tie ball game, 1-1 as Jake Rust jogs to the sideline for the congrats. Yeah, look at that. He kind of lost Stokes Myers. Myers looked at the long pole there, Joe, thought he was going to get some help, and he did. But when Rust went the other direction, it was a goal for Lynchburg. Riley Frankel 3 for 3 at the X.
How about Jake shaking off the rust here early? A beautiful sidearm in the top shelf. Lynchburg with a great response here in the early moments.
And that's where Jake Rust is going to be of so much value. When he gets a short pole, it's just really a great matchup for Lynchburg. And because of the other talent on the offensive side, Grant Voigt, Vandenberg, Hastings, Schmidt, list goes on. When Jake Rust, again, gets a favorable matchup, he will look to score as he should and as he's done his entire career. How about this scramble on the sideline? That got the Lynchburg bench pumped. Kyler Mahoney, one of the ringleaders in there again. He had assistance. Aiden Casey out there mixing it up, doing the dirty work for Lynchburg.
And that was great by the All-American in Barbarell. Beautiful stick handling until it wasn't. When he crossed the timeline, you meet a whole other set of defenders. That's really when you get yourself in trouble with that long pole. You can't really shield as well as you'd like in that kind of situation. An uncharacteristic turnover from the veteran leader.
Exactly right, and I think Lynchburg ran their game plan perfectly. When the long pole crossed the midfield line, you could see they blitzed him, brought some extra pressure, and you get the turnover. That way it makes you feel real good. Underhanded shovel to get Liam Holman involved. Holman getting downhill to the rack. Lynchburg leads 2-1.
Well, whatever I said about low bouncers in the open, throw it out the window. He just hammered that one right into the turf, flew right over the top, and bar down inside for the Hornets to take the advantage, their first lead of the afternoon.
Sophomore Liam Holman, Towson, Maryland. Yeah, as he's going to the ground, gets it off. Boy, he had a physical cover by number 45, Charlie Crean for Gettysburg. Riley Frankel, undefeated at the X so far. Frankel's going to get off again. Man, he is getting it done for Lynchburg, winning faceoffs, winning possessions. 9:42 left to play in the first quarter. 2-1, Lynchburg first lead of the season.
And faceoffs so underestimated in its power and ability to really capture and seize momentum in a ball game. You just scored, now you have another chance to, but a poor run out right there from the Lynchburg attack line, and an easy grab on the shot for Gettysburg. Now, once again, we get to take a look at what we've got in store for us ride-wise from the Lynchburg front line.
Yeah, full field ride, really putting some heat up there. Let's see how long they stay with it. I think Lynchburg's going to stay with it the entire time. Force Gettysburg into some long passing. Now the Bullets can set up a 6-on-6 opportunity.
That was a beautiful dish coming from Jack Dunleavy, the senior midfielder out of New Providence, New Jersey. Really a pivotal piece in this midfield line.
Matt Michellet looks like second offensive unit now for Gettysburg. Here with 8:45 left in the first. Big ripper there. I think Miller might have got a piece of that to deflect. Gettysburg closest. They'll stay with it. 60 on the clock.
And that was really great rotational defense from the Hornets. In an ideal world, you can spin it around the horn a lot quicker if you're Gettysburg to get a shot off, but we keep harping on in this rain, not so easy to implement quick ball movement.
No, you're right. Do we see more dodging, less passing because of the rain? I think going forward, certainly something for us to keep an eye on, although good passing right there and a couple fake shots. Lynchburg working the coverages and the slides, and the Hornets are going to get the ball back. Outstanding stuff over there defensively for Lynchburg. They got to feel real good about that, Joe.
What a job right there from Stan Steele to really stick with it. Now gets it out of trouble, and Lynchburg will go yellow and slow things down.
Finn Schmidt, haven't called his name yet. He's a capable goal scorer. Had to adjust the mask there as he took a shot from one of the long poles on a can opener. Lynchburg leading 2-1. Looking to establish themselves a bit here. Jake Rust is going to have to try to chase down a ground ball. Still free, working through the double team. Ice hockey slaps at it. Ball is still loose. Rust might have kicked that. Here goes Lynchburg, though.
And those are the kind of ground balls that can really change a ball game. If you can be the grittier team and come out of the pile alive with the ball, it'll give you a whole lot more possessions. As there's a beautiful save. How about the keeper getting his first of the day? Murphy Hoey, the sophomore out of Fairfield, Connecticut. And we talked about it a little bit, Kyle. New keepers for both of these teams. That should really be interesting to see how they start things off in their first season as the day one starter.
Well, Andrew Miller was actually out of the cage right there, briefly speaking of keepers, but he's back in. Got a long pole on the offense here for Gettysburg. Yeah, Andrew Miller is a guy, you listen to everybody in the Lynchburg Lacrosse program, they talk about how he has stepped up. He has made himself ready. He was already talented, but really took big strides between last year and this year to get ready to jump in the cage for Lynchburg. And so far, so good. I mean, he yielded the one, got a piece of that. Nice job by Andrew Miller to cover that. He took, I think, that on the shin. You could see him kind of lift the leg up. Looks like he's trying to work some feeling back in there after eating some rubber.
That was all disrupted by the long pole. Luke Meadows getting his stick in the cookie jar. Doing a great job sliding down.
Set play coming from behind the goal here for Gettysburg. Lynchburg's been ready for that for the most part. Charlie Johnson around the horn. Gettysburg unable to really get downhill and get momentum. No step downs yet. Here comes Jack Dunleavy. He beat a defender, getting to the doorstep and sliding it by Andrew Miller. Jack Dunleavy, the midfielder from New Providence, New Jersey, second in goals on the team last year, first in points. With those skills, you can see why. Foot speed there, excellent dodge, and then when he got to Andrew Miller, it was all she wrote.
Yeah, that was just a good set design right there from Gettysburg and Coach Toner. They put their man on ISO on an island down the left alley. And right off the first step, Ulmer was a foot behind the offensive player, and Gettysburg able to capitalize on the short stick.
Parker Seeley with speed. That's why you want those guys on the wings on the faceoff. Parker Seeley, goal line extended. Dumped a defender, and then, Parker Seeley took a shot at the end of it. Looks like we may have a penalty here, Joe. The Lynchburg ball. Now the Hornets will change personnel. Another face-off win for Lynchburg with Riley Frankel. You can't ask for anything more than what he's given you here in the first quarter.
About as even as you can ask for so far.
Wow. Wow, what a goal right here.
Brody Mason had other plans.
Brody Mason, the sophomore from Durham. Lynchburg running with their second offensive unit. Brody Mason taking a back seat to nobody. Good feed, steps into it, Selly, and Lynchburg leads again, 3-2.
Brody Mason, someone not in the starting lineup, but someone I've certainly got my eye on here today. He could definitely be an impact player for this Lynchburg offense. 7 goals, 3 assists a season ago, but coming out of high school, he was 3-time All-Conference, 2-time All-State, the Conference Player of the Year his senior season. he is certainly a stud that can rack things up and make a big jump here in his sophomore campaign.
Well, so much depth for Lynchburg. It's 3 goals from 3 different players, by the way, Joe. And I feel like you and I are both just talking about different guys all the time, not because we're on different pages, because Lynchburg's got that much depth.
Yeah, and that's a great problem for a coach to have, especially early on in the season, because we've seen it with other teams here at Lynchburg. Towards the end of the year, it can often become a war of attrition between both sides. But obviously, both teams today at full strength, which is always a good sight to see. Nevertheless, we certainly have a lot of names right down in front of us.
Sam Steele, the defender, with a dodge, now directing traffic. Yeah, that's where you get in trouble. Dodge once as a defender, but not multiple times. How about that? Little takeaway out of the air. Muffin popped in the direction.
And there's the freshman short stick midi we were talking about, Quincy White. He's someone who I would always describe as a gin rat. I mean, I've seen this kid on campus probably 5 times a week, and he's always got his lacrosse stick in his hands. I think he goes to class with it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a Lynchburg tradition, and Quincy White has no problem carrying on that tradition. But you're right, good play right there, and then he's off for a nice rest. See if Finn Schmidt can turn the corner and get something going for Lynchburg, who leads 3-2. Had a little bit of a shot clock issue there. Stopped play briefly. Lynchburg still got 40 on the timer right now, so no rush at all. We were wondering if Lynchburg might play slower. We haven't seen that yet. No shot clock violations anywhere close to happening yet. Jake Rust going to start the dodge. Spins, fires. That was wide left. I think a good opportunity there for Jake Rust. Lynchburg thought they were closer to that one. Didn't necessarily agree with the call, but it's Gettysburg Bullets ball. That's
the kind of shot that'll drive any coach crazy. Everybody's always going to tell you high to low, throw the stick at your head, not at your hip. A nice sidearm shot there, but just off the mark. Was about 3 feet wide of that left corner.
And Jake Rust has got those angles, though. He has all those shots. And through the course of the year, you're going to get to see them all. You don't score 49 goals in one way, right, Joe? You've definitely got a bag when you get that many.
Oh, he's got a bag, and it's Louis.
Here comes a move for Gettysburg to try to tie our ball game up. Lynchburg's defense has stood out to us so far. We knew there were question marks so far. Many of those questions being answered, but obviously still a close game and still very early as Gettysburg looks to respond. Watch that ISO play again, perhaps, here.
Matched up with the LSM. They've had success from that left alley today. Nothing right there.
Yeah, Luke Barbera got stymied. He's the brother of Frank, a family tradition for Gettysburg. Both guys can play, too. Down to 9 seconds on the shot clock. Now 8. See if Lynchburg can hold tight here. Does Gettysburg set up a D or try to get something off? Oh, they do get it off with 1 on the timer. What a sequence there for Gettysburg. Jackson Hearn getting down low. Houston, Texas native, not minding the cold, rainy Central Virginia weather to tie this up.
Hearn, the 5'8", 155-pound attackman. Probably 155 soaking wet. Right on the doorstep. Able to sneak that one past. Just a good job of spatial awareness, recognizing that the defense was collapsing on the driving midfielder and just went unnoticed behind the back of all the Lynchburg defensemen.
Great point by you. And I'll point out, if he's 150 pounds soaking wet, then he's got to be like 155 today because it's that wet out there. Yeah, and the spatial awareness, you're right. Clock awareness, too. I think Lynchburg was expecting a longer shot because of the shot clock time.
Ooh.
Wow, how about this? Spencer Vandenberg dropping defenders, snatching ankles. Lynchburg will go a different direction and lost the ball. Boy, that was nice from Vandenberg. And a real presence to not shoot after that move, too.
Yeah, an unselfish move by swinging it, but with that, you allow Gettysburg to rotate and recover. By the time it had swung around back up to the opposite top side on the right alley, that stumbling defender was right back on his feet and playing defense once again.
Great point by you. I thought it was a good move to pass, but you're right. It may have been unselfish to a fault right there from Spencer Vandenberg.
But on a day where it's bright and sunny and you can quick stick it right around, as there's a beautiful save off the stick of Miller. On a day where you don't have the ball and your mesh weighing you down, you can really kick it around quicker. But right here, that's where you want to go. You've got the advantage. You need to get the inside of that defender sliding down. He's not in position to cover you. If you can switch it and face dodge over to your left and then go right back to your right, you've got a nice shot with the angle.
Good point. Stokes-Myers, did it go in or not? I think Stokes-Myers thought it's not a goal, though. Stokes-Myers with a really good look. Lynchburg's defense looking a little bit more porous here on this sequence. There's a ripper from Jack Dunleavy that was wide right. Under a minute to play in the first quarter here. It's a tie ball game. Gettysburg with multiple chances.
Oh, that one was close.
Yeah, Stokes-Myers looked at the official there, Joe, with the signal, hey, I scored it. Play on, though, and Gettysburg may score just yet.
I mean, that's about as close as you can get. Nevertheless, did not cross that goal line. So we'll play on, tied up here in the third quarter. Gettysburg can hold for the final shot. Shot clock is now turned off.
Yeah, the Bullets let the shot clock run down on the last goal from Jackson Hearn. This time they've been trying to shoot. This is, I believe, chance number 3 or 4 on this possession. See what Lynchburg can do defensively. Big wind up and a goal. See who it was, Joe. Looked like it might have been number 45.
40.
Number 40.
Right there, a beautiful play made by the midfielder and Ethan Kessler, the junior out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. Just shrugged the shorty right off him, and a bull dodge right to the net.
He had a day against Lynchburg last year in this opening meeting, scored 4 times against the Hornets. So Lynchburg got to feel like he was mentioned on the scouting report. Riley Frankel again.
You still got a chance.
Let's see how Lynchburg uses it. Spinning, Hastings lost the footing. There's one we can probably blame on the wet weather, and then he lost the pipe. And now a long one down to the other end, and that's how the first quarter will end. Exciting stuff. Both teams led. Right now it's Gettysburg at our first break on top 4-3. You're watching Lynchburg Lacrosse on LHSN and Lacrosse TV.
Your greatest critic is right here. Now that is poetry. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum.
The NCAA D1, D2, and D3 men's and D1 women's lacrosse championships. May 23rd through the 26th in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Class dismissed. Your greatest critic is right here. Now that is poetry. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum.
The NCAA D1, D2, and D3 men's and D1 women's lacrosse championships. May 23rd through the 26th in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Class dismissed.
After one quarter of lacrosse in 2025, it's Gettysburg 4, Lynchburg 3. A top 20 matchup. Lived up to the hype in quarter number 1. Kyle Haney, Joe Brennan back with you. Joe, Lynchburg perfect, 8 for 8 on the faceoffs, but the Hornets have 7 turnovers. And right now, you have to say that's one of the big separators between these two teams in a game that admittedly doesn't have much separation, 1 goal. But Lynchburg will take a little bit better care of the ball on this sloppy Saturday.
Yeah, without a doubt. And only 3 of those 7 turnovers for the Hornets have been forced by Gettysburg. But at the same time, you got to credit Lynchburg on the deck. They've done a beautiful job with ground balls. Right now, winning in that category 12-4 over the Bullets.
Bullets are finally going to get a face-off. You're right. I think Lynchburg's been gritty. They've been tough. Energy and activity all there as expected. Gettysburg's got to feel good about their effort. today as well. And now the Bullets will get the first crack on offense here in period number 2, leading 4-3.
And a relatively strong start for both of these goalies as well, that are both getting the nod for the first time in the opener. Miller, a save percentage of .500 with 4 and 4. 2 saves for Hoey with 3 goals allowed. So sitting at 40 and 50% respectively. As a keeper, you'd like that to be a little around 55%, maybe a tick above.
Well, great calls by you, and adverse conditions as well. We've already talked about those low shots, how they can skip and be problematic in the rain. And to mention, it just makes it a little bit tougher to see in the rain as well. Your visual's not quite as clear as the goalie. And both teams are working in some new faces on defense, too. So I think good point. Goalies, even though we've got 7 goals scored, I don't think they should feel bad about what they've done.
Well, for Gettysburg defense, while their midfield line has let up 3 goals today, those long poles have looked phenomenal. Lynchburg's attacking line hasn't really been able to do anything, and that's what you would hope when you've got 2 preseason All-Americans on your closed defense.
Yeah, Will Headley, Frank Barbera, those guys stalwarts back there defensively. Grant Voigt will hustle on to get the ball for Lynchburg, a low pass. Jake Rust couldn't field. Let's see if he can wrestle it back. And a turnover there for Lynchburg.
I really like the physical play right there from the Gettysburg defense, just to shove the Lynchburg player out of the way and pick up the loose ball. Nevertheless, they can't do much with it.
Well, it's February lacrosse. I think all the coaches will tell you it's not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing product all the time. And then you add the weather conditions, you're going to see some of that. Now, there's a limit. I think both coaches will tell you, yeah, we've still got to be a little cleaner with the ball, secure the catches, looking into the pocket, make the easy passes.
Now you got Hastings matched up with his shorty here. This is the time you want to go, and just as I say that, a switch.
You got some real goal-scoring talent on the field right here for Lynchburg. See if they get it back to Hastings. Vandenberg was looking for on the middle cut. Couldn't get anything. Grant Voigt, he'll swing it to Jake Rust. I mean, this is your goal-scoring package right here for Lynchburg, and this tells you, I think Coach Kudelka and his squad think they need one right now. Voigt dumping off to Rust, trying to secure. Finn Schmidt, he'll wind and fire, and that one missed.
And on that last drive by Voigt, you can see that he was playing a 2-man game with Rust. He did not want to go for the goal whatsoever. His pure focus on that drive was just to draw the long pole away from Rust, to force rotation from the defense to try and get Rust a better matchup. Because right now, going against an All-American, you'd rather have almost anybody else in a blue jersey match up with him.
Yeah, great point. Finn Schmidt will take the short whack as number 42, Cam Ash, just trying to push it back to Lynchburg offensively, but then Schmidt couldn't really control. Gettysburg has the ball back again.
Oh, that shot clock was winding all the way down, and he just wanted to send it as far back as he could to give Gettysburg worse field position, and that's why.
How about Riley Hastings? Deep-poled him at midfield. That'll make you feel really good. Yeah, get it back to Hastings. Ooh, he just kind of casually lost the ball. We said the conditions are tough. Yeah. Wow, so I mean, that's this game in a nutshell. Riley Hastings makes an incredible play to knock the stick out of the Gettysburg player's hand, and then just kind of unforced error, lost the ball trying to cradle. 11:14 left to go in a splash-tastic Saturday matchup. I mean, we're going to remember this one for a long time. That 2015 game in the NCAA semifinal featured rain, but that was like a 2-hour rain delay because there was lightning involved. Obviously, in the tournament, you got to worry about thunder and lightning. Right now, we don't have to worry about that. Just really, really cold and wet conditions.
Now, if you're Gettysburg, can you claim the largest lead of the day? Nobody is led by more than a goal. Beautiful save.
That was fantastic. Andrew Miller had to get down low, keeping that one out of the twine. Very nice. Good little back down post play there. Jack Dunleavy, that was nice. That was something you see in the NBA on the low block. That was excellent to get a good chance. Just couldn't convert.
Here comes the LSM.
Too many on that side of the field there as Lynchburg just couldn't quite get another player back on the defensive side in time there in the transition.
Seemed like all the midfielders were just ready for him to toss it across the timeline. You had Cam Ash right there.
You think that's just one of those early season kind of don't quite have the chemistry yet, Joe?
To a certain extent. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that penalty in the end of the season. But
True.
Nevertheless, you hope you get less and less of it.
Look out. Ethan Kessler's got 2. Mentioned he had a day last year against Lynchburg with 4. He's halfway there, and he has given Gettysburg the biggest advantage of the day. 5-3 on target. Yeah, just too much space there. Stepped right in the seam. 2 defenders just a little bit late closing it there for Lynchburg. It's not one they're going to feel great about. Liam Haley and Matt Crone, neither could get in the way of the shot. It's a 5-3 Gettysburg advantage. Lynchburg ball after the Gettysburg face-off man went a little early, I believe. Now the Hornets, obviously not in dire straits by any means, Joe, but really could use some traction and momentum here. Liam Holman's going to go to work from the far right side. Cole Apparandi on in the game. I think it's our first time seeing Cole Apparandi. Here's a low shot, not on the mark from number 55, Finn Schmidt. Gettysburg out and running. Now they'll set up shop offensively.
Now you got Barbera calling for a sub. Got caught in transition. Now he's on the offensive end. Matched up with, I think that's the Shorty and Schmidt.
Keep an eye on that matchup. Number 9, Jackson Barrel, hustling on, I think, for his first activity for Gettysburg. Jack Dunleavy going to work. Now he'll scan the chessboard. Here comes the double from behind. Woo! Didn't see it. Lost a pole again. Excellent stuff there from Lynchburg. That was Finn Schmidt. Perfect timing. Just kind of got the Grand Theft Auto from behind there, Joe.
D twigged him. Second time we've seen that today. Physical defense from both of these sides. Beautiful bounce pass back the other way. We see some fresh faces on the field for the Hornets here. Brody Mason once again returning to the contest. He's already splashed one home today.
Lynchburg down 2. Still plenty of lacrosse to play. It's our first game on the turf on Schellenberger today. Lynchburg women's team will take on CNU. There's basketball inside. You'll be headed over there, Joe. Quite a bit warmer. I'm a little bit jealous. Jealousy is not supposed to be a great thing to have, but in this case, we have it. But lacrosse season, it's here. Spring sports season in full flight. There's a lot going on, too. Brody Mason looking to get downhill. Gave a defender the shoulder. Now he'll back away. Still 25 on the timer for Lynchburg. Haven't really seen them be in jeopardy of the shot clock violation. We did have the one, actually. It was probably more a credit to Gettysburg's defense, though. Now the timer's under 10 as I say that. Lynchburg's got to go. Brody Mason going to try to wind and fire. Wide right. Might have been partially blocked there from Andy Marquette, the defender for Gettysburg.
Now if you're Lynchburg, you just get right back on defense. 2 on the shot clock. Not enough time to do anything with it. As you take another look at this D-twig, the physical defense. Look at that stick go flying. Finn Schmidt knocking it loose. Who says attackmen don't play defense?
Yeah, he'll cut that promo and watch that one a few times. Ooh, nearly another stick loss. Long pass intercepted. Great job by Lynchburg defensively. Again, pressuring in the full field ride.
And that's not an easy toss to make on the move. Once again, another turnover.
Well, conditions are sloppy. You feel like the gameplay might be a little bit sloppy. It may be the team that can hold on to the ball just a little bit better than the other that will walk away the winner in this one. It's a 5-3 ball game. We've got a timeout on the field. Let's catch our breath as well. Lynchburg down to Gettysburg. First half action on LHSN and Lacrosse TV. Game number 1 for Gettysburg and Lynchburg in the 2025 campaign. Both squads have really high hopes, Joe. Gettysburg with the 5-3 advantage. You and I were talking about time of possession. I mean, it feels like Gettysburg probably winning that right now, you think?
Yeah, you can see it just by the shot differential. Gettysburg outshooting the Hornets 14-9 here, approaching the halfway mark of the second quarter. It's been a good one back and forth. Lynchburg, you would think, would have somewhat of the advantage just how they've controlled the faceoffs today. 9 for 10 at the center circle. Nevertheless, the Bullets have done a great job of forcing turnovers and really disrupting the Hornet offense, and also just a lot of unforced errors as well. We saw Hastings a few minutes ago just with losing the ball on a pass that just went right behind him. Those are the kind of errors that you're going to see not only at the beginning of the season, but especially in a first game of the year that is just dumping rain and clearly having a significant impact on the play style.
Charlie Johnson got free. Shot was blocked partially by Andrew Miller. Johnson had it back there briefly. Yeah, Gettysburg has forced turnovers, as you said, and then you pointed it out, too. They've really done a nice job taking advantage of Lynchburg's unforced errors.
And I would say so far the biggest difference maker in this ball game has been the midfield line.
Wow. Strike right there from distance. Jackson Barrel, first year. Let's get another look at it. Puts Gettysburg up 6-3, doubling up the Hornets right now. Shrugged off a defender. No, it's number 8, Nicholas Lindberg. Nicholas Lindberg, another first year, though, like Barrel. Wow. Power step down there after losing the defender. This is not a good spot for Lynchburg right now. You fall down 1 or 2, you feel okay about that. Now all of a sudden, you're in a 3-goal hole. Kind of changes your psyche a little bit.
Yeah, and it's been a mixture of offense and defense that have really been controlled here by Gettysburg. As once again, Lynchburg wins the draw, but Gettysburg now with a chance for a difficult ride. Not a lot of offensive help available, and another turnover.
Yeah, that ride pressure caused it right there. I thought Frankel did well initially to run down his own loose face-off and then get the keeper, Andrew Miller, involved.
Good stick by Steele to poke it away. Flipped over to Quincy White, who now gets it into the box.
Boy, Quincy White's fun to watch, isn't he? He just kind of barrels around. Plus, he's got the flow coming out of the lid there, too. We got another timeout. Yeah, get a good look at Quincy White. Fun player. Lynchburg not having as much fun right now in the rain. We'll keep it here. It's a 6-3 Gettysburg lead. Kyle Haney, Joe Brennan, our LHSN team combining forces with Lacrosse TV this year. That's exciting, Joe.
Oh, without a doubt. But if we're talking excitement, this Gettysburg offense has really exploded here in the first half, and it hasn't necessarily been their attackmen. You would think that this experienced group of attackmen would go after these long poles and really try and expose their inexperience. Nonetheless, the long poles for the Hornets have looked exceptional today. It has been that midfield unit on the defensive end that has allowed Gettysburg to score all 6 of their goals today. Granted, you've also got a new keeper in there, and that requires some time to really develop chemistry. Obviously, you have the whole preseason and fall to prepare and build that, and Thomas has been here for 3 years to develop it even more so, but nothing's like showtime. And so far today, we've seen this Gettysburg team time and time again just beat Lynchburg off the first step off those dodges. And every time that happens, it has a string effect. It's a domino that then results in rotations, which lead to extra passes and wide open goals. And we've seen that with the numbers today. 3 assists for Gettysburg in a game where passing has been quite difficult. Nevertheless, they've been able to find openings off of these dodges at the top of the box and get down low. And on the flip side, the Hornets offense has just been kept quiet, which is something we relatively expect based on the accolades and achievements of this defensive unit. But they got to start attacking this young goalie.
I think you're right. More shots probably required for Lynchburg. We've mentioned maybe unselfish to a fault at times. Yes, you have to get good looks, but you can't be too choosy. Down 3. Let's see if Lynchburg does try to fire a little bit more. Cole O'Prandi get bumped around, trying to recapture the ball.
And that sequence right there showcases how dominant this Gettysburg defense can be.
Great call. Great call by you. Back to Gettysburg offense just real quick. We'll get to talk about it as Lynchburg has thrown it away. Gettysburg, 6 goals from 5 different players. Kessler's got 2, and I love what you mentioned. It's starting with the dodging. I think you got to turn the Bullets into more passers than dodgers around the net. Easier said than done, but that might be the tactical change for Lynchburg right now.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen Lynchburg do today is it's one dodge, try and draw the next defender, roll back and play it to where the help is coming from. But that hasn't worked in those passes. They've either got to get out of the stick quicker or you've just got to go.
Stokes-Myers kind of in second gear looking around. Right goal line extended. He'll bang in and just keep it. Myers still cradling here with his squad leading by 3. Just over 3 to play. There's a screen and a goal. Wow, we really hadn't seen many picks yet today, Joe.
You can't let him get his hands free like that. I mean, it was open season. There wasn't a player within 5 yards of him. And in a game like today, where breathing room is very, very infrequent, he's able to capitalize on it and do so exceptionally well.
Yeah, great job to run off the screen. Jack Dunleavy, he got the shoulders turned and really had the entire 6x6 to work with there. Lynchburg just needs to be a little bit cleaner in the pick game. Surprised we haven't seen more picks from both teams.
And I believe that was Meadows, who was just playing over the top. When you're that high up on really the fringe of the box, you need to go underneath and around that screen to be ready to switch and keep playing.
Great call. Communication important there as well. Well, if you're Gettysburg, maybe you go right back to that pick at some point. Matt Michelik in the game.
Well, the thing is that they've really been doing it all day, but like how we just saw it happen right there, that was textbook, and from a freshman, I might add. 2 freshmen actually running the 2-man game on the defensive end. And right there, I mean, you don't make the same mistake twice, which is great, but good by Gettysburg to go right after it.
Oh, Gettysburg's got another one. The hits keep coming for the Bullets. They are pouring down like this rain on a wet Saturday. That was number 9, Jackson Barrel. First-year man. Getting low, squeezing it through. Gettysburg having their way with things right now in a 5-goal lead. Just turned the corner. And Lynchburg is a little bit late getting there, Joe.
And it's a good seal right there from the senior and Sam Steele. And obviously forces the player to the turf as well, but you need help coming from the weak side. That's what they like to call a coma slide, Kyle. It's coming from the opposite side of the crease, ready for that attackman that's coming over from X and trying to make that question mark move. He's got to be ready and ready to come hard with some physical contact to really disrupt that attackman's rhythm.
It looked like it was Kyler Mahoney that was just a little bit late, the slide you were talking about. Mahoney was matched up on the ball there briefly, but Gettysburg will get things settled here. An 8-3 Bullet lead, looking for more. It's really all going Gettysburg's way now after a back-and-forth first quarter. You got to say, Bullets have dominated period number 2. Could be time for a big defensive stand from Lynchburg. We'll start right here. Parker Seeley, junior, short stick defensive midi, could not quite pry the rubber free. Declan Mack for Gettysburg. Bullets are getting some new faces inserted and activated. They seem to be working. Great production from those 2 first years. Lindbergh and Barrel have both scored for Gettysburg. 15 on the shot clock now. Tried to go to the doorstep. Andrew Miller came out and became his own help side defense there, Joe.
That's what I like to call high risk, high reward.
Miller got beat to his left, low. Gettysburg rolling 9-3 Bullets. Patrick Maroney on this one.
Thomas really just getting picked apart between the pipes right now. Only 1 save here in the second half. Gettysburg right now just smelling blood. Miller, his save percentage right now at 35%. With 5 saves, 9 goals allowed. Another great check right there from Gettysburg. But Lynchburg with a timeout right before.
Yeah, got it off in time there. The official made a strong call. Now Coach Steve Kudelka chatting with the official. Hey, we'll step aside here. 1:19 left to play in the first half. Things are going Gettysburg's way in the rain at Lynchburg. 9-3. Bullets on top.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Gettysburg 9, Lynchburg 3. Kyle and Joe back with you. Gettysburg offensively, 2 from Jack Dunleavy, 2 from Ethan Kessler. Officially, the first year Jackson Barrels got 2. We thought Lindbergh had one of those. Joe, it doesn't really matter for Gettysburg right now. The goals are coming often and coming from different sources. And the Bullets are on top and in charge. We've still got a lot to play here.
Yeah, but they have dominated here in the second quarter, outscoring Lynchburg 5-0. Only one save here in the second for Thomas, or Miller, rather.
Good save by Murphy Hoey. We haven't had to talk about the netminder for Gettysburg as much. He hasn't been troubled too much in the second quarter.
Oh, he's had a calm second quarter. Hasn't really had to move his stick at all.
Lynchburg will get the ball back and go to work again. Colby Haug in there for Lynchburg. Brody Mason up top. Haug to Mason. Mason thought about step down with room. It'll come from the other side and it'll go in. Big strike there from Lynchburg. Caden Hinchy Jr., attackman from Glastonbury, Connecticut, gets the first goal of period number 2 for Lynchburg. Could be a momentum piece there, Joe.
And you could see that one from about 3 passes away. He slowly started to creep in from that top line of the box. It all started here with the turnover. They get it back on the other end and able to capitalize right there. And a quick stick. That's really what you need in this kind of contest, a game where the sticks have been a little slow for Lynchburg on the offensive end. And right there, able just a 1-2 punch to cut into that deficit right before the half.
Hinchy on the board there for Lynchburg. See if they can hold in the final 14 seconds of half number 1. A late timeout here for Gettysburg to talk over a final set piece, probably with 9.8 seconds. Let's just stay here. We'll get you some halftime numbers after a short break and get you ready for half number 2. For Lynchburg, I know we've talked about Gettysburg's tough schedule. Lynchburg's is pretty tough as well. Pfeiffer a week from today, February 22nd at home. That was a playoff team last year. The Pfeiffer Falcons actually had their season come to a close at Lynchburg's hands on the turf here at Schellenberger. And then it's Salisbury in town 2 weeks from today, Joe. That'll be another marquee matchup for Lynchburg. One I know you're looking forward to. A lot of lacrosse fans are looking forward to it. Both these squads, they really do a good job of building that early schedule, that non-conference schedule. They're going to be battle-tested by the time season comes to a close.
Oh, without a doubt. They're certainly being thrown into the fire. And you have Gettysburg that plays teams out of conference like Salisbury and Lynchburg, W&L also on their schedule as well, Stevenson. But they've also got great competition in their conference with teams like Swathorn and Dickinson. So you certainly have a difficult schedule already built for you within the conference. But both of these teams, it's all about just getting the team ready for postseason play. It's not about making a deep run in the conference tournament. Well, everybody wants that. It's the NCAA tournament that these two teams have that bar and expectation for year in and year out. And obviously, Gettysburg showing that they're hungry after last year not making the tournament for the first time in 4 seasons.
Great call. They're ready. Stokes-Myers down to 5 seconds. Gettysburg's going to keep this alive. Shot's got to come now, though. Horn sounds. Lynchburg holds. Oh, a late flag flies, though. A late flag as we get a little bit of some talking here at the end of it. Gettysburg seems celebratory, running to the sideline. Both teams are going to head to the locker room, though. This flag will get sorted out in the second half, Joe. Wow, what a finish there to a really good first half. Get something from the official. Half is done, and it was a good half for Gettysburg. 9-4. See a little shot of the action here at the end. Joe and I are back in just a few minutes to get you the numbers and get you ready for half number 2. Is a comeback in the cards for Lynchburg on a wet Saturday? Find out on LHSN and Lacrosse TV.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
I'm a first-generation college student. I applied to 16 universities, and I actually had decided on going to a different university. But doing FAFSA and everything on my own, and the need for a good credit with the Parent Plus loan and everything like that, my plans kind of fell through. I just couldn't give up hope. And so I'm wrestling through this like shoebox I have full of like acceptance letters and financial aid letters. And I got my financial aid reward letter, and I also received scholarships from the school, and it was, the most affordable for me. They were excited to work with me. Financial aid really helped me out a lot with getting that situated. And I've just considered it a blessing ever since to go from 1 week not knowing whether or not I had to stay home for a year, and then the next week, knowing that this is where I'm going. It was meant to be, and obviously I consider this place my home, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund. There would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's definitely the people that donate. And like I said, not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working.
Welcome back, lacrosse fans. Scenes from half one between Lynchburg and Gettysburg. The Bullets getting the better of things right now, 9-4 after a very competitive first quarter. Gettysburg really took control in period number 2. My name is Kyle Haney, my partner in crime. He's more than a sidekick. He's a leading man, Joe Brennan. Joey B. Saw some good stuff there in half number 1. I think a mixture of things that we probably expected, and then some things that were unexpected from us.
Well, Kyle, there's always two types of people. There are those that love the smell of the rain and those that hate it and love to stay indoors. And right now you can see both sides of that here today as Gettysburg is splashing around with a 9-4 advantage. Their midfield line has been the difference maker today as those middies have found 8 of the 9 goals on the afternoon for Gettysburg. Meanwhile, for Lynchburg, a hot start to begin the contest, but a slow second quarter with a 5-0 Gettysburg run. Lynchburg was able to snap the scoring run at the end of the second quarter to find one lone goal. Nevertheless, a 5-goal disadvantage for Lynchburg in their season opener.
You mentioned midfield a couple times, and I think with good reason. That really does feel like the separator right now between these two teams. There's your statistical analysis. Lynchburg dominating the faceoffs. We've been very impressed with that, but too many turnovers for Lynchburg, some of that involving the midfield. But we just haven't mentioned some of those guys like Grant Voigt as much for Lynchburg. Some of those people that we know have experience in the midfield and can help out defensively. And then you got to really be impressed with Gettysburg, what their middies have done all over, scoring, defending, a little bit of everything for the Bullets in this one.
Well, Kyle, I'm a big advocate of winning 3 categories, and that's always my recipe for game-winning lacrosse, and it's the face-off battle, the turnover battle, and the ground ball battle. Right now, Lynchburg is winning 2 out of those 3. And those turnovers have really been the Achilles tendon for this Lynchburg offense here in the first half. 15 turnovers. It seems like every time they get an ounce of momentum, they're just not able to get shots off and giving it right back to the Bullets. They're flying downfield and capitalizing on these turnovers. I wish we had a points off turnover statistic because right now that would be glaring for Gettysburg. They're doing a really great job of moving in transition and scoring when Lynchburg's still trying to get down the field.
Yeah, fantastic insights by you. It seems like Lynchburg's turnovers have been quite a bit more untimely than Gettysburg, and the Bullets have made the most of those advantages. What can change for Lynchburg? Because you still got 2 quarters of lax here to get after it, and obviously it's a Lynchburg team. They don't like to lose to anybody, but definitely don't like to lose at home on Schellenberger. It's a squad that in the decade of the 20s is 38-8 on this turf. So, again, what needs to change for Lynchburg going forward?
Well, I think a big thing is you need to see better defense from your shorties. That's one thing that Lynchburg really struggled with here in the first half. Their long poles did a great job of rotating and helping, but it was those shorties getting caught in traffic. Also, better rotations from the Lynchburg defense. They got to be quicker and more sound. Gettysburg, despite the conditions today, is doing a great job of capitalizing and moving off of Lynchburg's slow transitions here in the rain. On the offensive end, you just got to hold on to it. Because right now, if you can win the possession battle, that can really change the game for you. A 5-goal deficit is not that extreme when you're winning faceoffs back to back to back and stacking up possessions and stacking up goals. The Hornets have all the capability to go on a 3-0 run, but I mean, we've seen Lynchburg win more faceoffs today than they've gotten shots off, and that's something that raises a lot of eyebrows.
Great point. Do we expect more of the 10-man ride, more pressure across the field for Lynchburg to try to take some weight off the defense's shoulders again?
I think you could. That's definitely one way you can approach it because Gettysburg has had trouble with clearing the ball with those full field rides. Nevertheless, that does open you up for more problems if you drop everybody back and play a half field kind of game. You're in better defensive positioning. Otherwise, I mean, it's high risk, high reward if you want to go that full field pressure.
Yeah, good point. Gettysburg 9 of 12 on clears today, which is a pretty good number and a nice jump, I think, maybe from what they expected early in the year. But we'll see what Peter Toner's expectations are going forward. And in this second half here, Gettysburg on the offensive attack in the dark blues with the white lids. Lynchburg defending the goal to our left in the home white top, white short, black helmet.
And granted, there's still so much lacrosse left to be played here with 30 minutes to go.
Well, there you go. There's a start that Gettysburg would have wanted, even though there is a lot of lacrosse to be played. Patrick Maroney, sophomore, coming alive and striking early, just 39 seconds into half.
And that one feels like a difference maker. Just coming out of the locker room 40 seconds in, punching Lynchburg in the mouth, gets your sideline back into it, and keeping vibes high and energy going here in a game like today where it's dark and dreary and cold on the sideline can really be a difference maker.
Perfect phrasing again. It's a punch in the mouth early as the face-off guys get tangled and twisted there. Ball's going to go to Lynchburg. But, yeah, it's a punch in the mouth early from Gettysburg. And I love what you said about the momentum, because on a cold, miserable day, you can lose heart really quickly when you're down. And Lynchburg is down by 6. Let's see how the Hornets keep their vibes and momentum going. Gettysburg has it right now. Grant Voigt, full speed. Then Voigt will dish it away. Now it's Finn Schmidt over here near side. See if Lynchburg can get something, anything going in this game.
Good chunking right there from the shorty to force his man out.
We thought Lynchburg had some momentum at the end of quarter number 2. That's a great way to snatch it right back if you're Gettysburg. Saw Van Tangay in there. He is a Tangway, excuse me. He's a first year to watch for Lynchburg. Now it's Jake Rust. We know about his caliber. Preseason All-American, and that's why. Got by the defender and let it fly. Great job there for Lynchburg. When you need some momentum, go to your 5th year, go to your proven commodity. Jake Rust strikes again.
And that all began with a set play from the far sideline that was ready for Rust to attack from the top of the box straight away. Didn't get it as quick as he would have liked, with Vanderberg's pass coming a little bit slower, but after that play dissolves, he's able to make offense all by himself. And here's how you can capitalize. I'd love to see Lynchburg try and get a shot off in transition when you've got that 4-on-3 after the one faceoff.
Sure. Riley Frankel, 2 goals last year, so he will pull the trigger, and he's an accurate passer as well. We could be seeing that at some point. Liam Holman going to dance around and start in from the far sideline. Right goal line extended. Look to pass in the middle. Nobody made a cut, so Lynchburg will work it around the horn. Down by 5. Still 13 minutes and change left in period number 3.
I would love to see more off-ball cutting from Lynchburg here in the second half. I always say, don't go looking for the ball will go looking for you if you're moving.
I love it. It has appeared a little stagnant at times for Lynchburg. Oh, watch out. Bounce shot from Spencer Vandenberg.
And that's not a bad take. I think that's the first shot we've seen from Vandenberg today. We need to see him look a little bit more aggressive here in the second half. A guy that he's the definition of a goal scorer, someone that grew up playing box lacrosse where those pipes are certainly a lot tighter and the goalie looks a lot bigger in the face of it. And that really teaches you how to find the gaps and really work on your accuracy. A guy that had a big leap from his freshman to his sophomore season and really anticipated to take a bigger role once again this year. You got to let it go.
Yeah, shot clock winding down there.
It's his 3rd shot clock violation for Lynchburg this afternoon.
Vandenberg, 28 goals last year, 61 in the career. So you're right, a guy like that who has taken some big strides over the course of his career. We really haven't seen him shoot much. How about that little individual dodge?
Seeley just got burned.
Still on the move here. Oh, and there's a ripper from the right side. Andrew Miller was out of the cage. Couldn't get back and cover it in time. Positioning there for Lynchburg in the transition offense for Gettysburg. The Bullets strike again, 11-5.
And that one's not on the keeper. I mean, you've got a Gettysburg blue jersey wide open on the doorstep. Second time today we've seen something like that. You talked in the open how this is a brand new starting 3 on the defensive side for Lynchburg that includes a true freshman. There are going to be some early growing pains here in the first couple of games, and you see one right there. And it feels like right now Gettysburg just has a response for everything that Lynchburg has thrown at them. After a 5-0 run, really a 6-0 run that dated back from the end of the first quarter to the start of the second quarter, that since then it's been 2-2. They've really just traded goals.
Yeah, Ethan Kessler set up the transition goal with that fantastic dodge and then sprinting down this near left sideline. Both teams have traded some long passes that were not accurate, and Lynchburg will try to go to work again, down 11-5. I love what you're saying about the face-off domination from Lynchburg. If you can get on a roll here and keep winning those, you can make up this deficit.
But the big thing is they're not scoring off of face-offs. They haven't done it all day long.
Exactly. Vandenberg, now it's Rust. High left point, looking over. Tossing to Van Tangway. Tangway is an athletic guy on target, pass to the doorstep, and they get Riley Hastings a goal. Tangway, the new man to the proven star, Riley Hastings, catch and shoot for the junior from Alpharetta, Georgia.
You don't go find the ball will find you if you move. A beautiful curl coming from Hastings right there. A guy that is really known in that attack line as the distributor. 30 assists in both his freshman and sophomore season. He's on pace to be one of the program's leader if he stays with it. But right there, gets a nice feed, capitalizes off a beautiful quick stick. Once again, deficit cut back down to 5.
Yeah, Hastings loves handing out the apples, and that time he got to eat himself there. Fantastic pass from the first year, Van Tangway.
Now can you string a couple together? Rather than continuing to trade back and forth, you need something that can really give you some momentum and try and turn a snowball into an avalanche here down by 5.
Yeah, Gettysburg has done a great job stalling out any Lynchburg momentum. Tried for the little handoff to Tangway. Lynchburg will have to get it back. Still plenty on the shot clock here at 40. Vandenberg looking around, trying to bully ball his way in.
Great defense.
Yeah, great individual matchup right there. Wow. Put that one on the tape, Joe.
And that's what's made this game so complex for Lynchburg is this one's poked free. Who can find it?
Vandenberg just getting beat on from the long pole. Ball is still loose. Tangway's in there now. Watch out as Brody Mason will insert himself into the proceedings. This is good. This is good right here in the ring.
But if you go back to that turnover when Vandenberger had it stripped, I mean, that's what we've come to see today from this long pole unit for Gettysburg. I mean, this defense is phenomenal. In one-on-one, in rotation, whatever you need from them, they have given you today against a Lynchburg starting attack line that has a lot of recognition, a handful of honorable mentions in the preseason All-American list, and once again, it's another turnover for the Hornets and an easy clear for Gettysburg.
Yeah, Hinchy couldn't handle, and it was Griffin Howe, a junior defender, who came in there and picked up the loose ball off the carpet for Gettysburg. So there it was again. Lynchburg felt like they could develop some momentum, Joe. Gettysburg with a couple big plays to snatch it right back.
And again, it's a team that won the faceoff after they scored the goal, got it on their side of the field, and then couldn't get a shot off.
Yep.
Rather, it's a turnover that results in an easy transition over to Gettysburg offense. And Kyle, I tell you, I'm a man of patterns, and right now the pattern tells me this is going to be a Gettysburg goal.
Yep. Stokes Myers tried to get in a couple times and got stymied. Looked like he never wanted to give it up, and then finally he will and set a soft screen as Patrick Maroney will go to work. He lost the footing, kind of helped down to the ground. Maroney's had it here for a long time.
This is great defense here on the outside by the long stick midi.
There's a mishandle from Stokes Myers. Gettysburg will maintain it. Charlie Johnson going to circle the defense. He'll look around, lobs over the top. 17 on the shot clock. Wow. Rifle from the far side.
And it all starts with Parker Seeley being overly aggressive. The short stick defensive midi did not have the angle or the wheels to get to the ball at midfield when it got played all the way out. And then as soon as Gettysburg is able to scoop it up, it's an easy trot into the box. You're forcing all 5 players to rotate. It leaves a man wide open on the weak side, and Seeley can't get there in time. I don't think Usain Bolt could get there in time.
Jackson Hearn, the goal scorer, should be 2 for him now. As Gettysburg on top, 12-5. Multiples for Hearn, Barrel, Dunleavy, Maroney, Kessler. Gettysburg distributing the rock. Multiple goal-scoring options in this one.
Well, that last minute sequence really summarizes how the first half went for Lynchburg. Here's a chance.
Yeah, Vandenberg really started that with that hustle play and that dive to kind of keep the loose ball loose. And then Lynchburg got a big crank over there on the far side from Liam Holman and missed. Hornets still fighting. Finn Schmidt squeezing between two defenders, then kind of a change-up shot. I'm not sure he got the release he wanted as it whizzed by the goal.
Finn Schmidt, described by the coaching staff as a guy that could be a difference maker on this year's attack line. You know what you're going to get from Hastings and Vandenberg. It's what he can do that can ultimately change the game for this Lynchburg offense.
57 in the career for Finn Schmidt. He's going to have to work to get this one back. Pardon me, that's Jake Rust. He will scoop it up and then look to attack from X. 7:05 left to play in the third quarter. Gettysburg, again, doubling up Lynchburg. We've been saying that a lot. 12-6 right now. Bullets to the doorstep and then right over the top there. Goal for Lynchburg. Good pop passing to get that one in tight. Van Tangway, welcome to the big show. First collegiate goal for the freshman from Sudbury, Massachusetts.
Textbook right there from Tangway. A lot of times, players that close to the goal, it's a fake high, go low. He fakes high, goes high. Right there, Hoy just couldn't keep up. That's a matchup that 9 out of 10 times will go in favor of the offensive player. A quick start once again, and another face-off wins for the Hornets. Now, once again, Kyle, can you capitalize on the face-off win?
Exactly right. They have dominated in that area. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Lynchburg has been fantastic in the faceoff. Can you capitalize? Regardless, going forward, I think Lynchburg's going to feel like that's a strength of their game, something they can take confidence away from. Of course, you lost Mikey Kraus from last year, now playing at Division I Denver, but Riley Frankel really having a nice day out there. 12-7. Can Lynchburg build? Can they get a goal-scoring streak here? Speed from Hastings. The delivery right in front. Slightly mishandled by Brody Mason. I beg your pardon. That's Cole Aprandy. Aprandy looking around, looking for space.
And this is when you're going to look to make a move and go back up top to the fringe of the box. See if you can find a mini to go top down.
Liam Holman. Around the horn it goes for Lynchburg.
And again, it's just slow passing. I mean, you got to move it quicker to force rotations to slide.
Cam Ash dumped to the deck. Here comes the flag. And yeah, play will stop. A little too physical there as Cam Ash tried to turn the corner. Both teams will get new faces in. I think Lynchburg's going to get to feature their man-up offense for the first time this year, Joe.
First man up or man down of the day.
The number 50, Charlie Evans, on for Lynchburg. Kind of a man-up specialist. 10 man-up goals in his career. 46 total, so he has scored in some other ways. Evans is on. Grant Voigt is going to start the party here. There's Evans' right side. Gets rid of it pretty quick. Feel like you got to capitalize here if you're at Lynchburg, right, Joe? If you
Without
want
a
any
doubt.
chance to win.
This is the best chance you've had all day.
Lynchburg numbers could have been better in the man-up opportunities last year. They nearly lost that one. Well, they will. They'll call it a violation there. Here comes Gettysburg, man down for the moment.
You can always go, but you just want to burn some clock. That's going to make it tough when you can't hang on to the rock. Here come the Hornets. No, they slow it down again. I would really love to see this Lynchburg team try and move in transition a little bit more.
Jake Rust was coming across the middle. He wanted it. He was asking for it. Couldn't get it, though.
Here's some quick passing.
It's something attached to Hastings' shoe there. I guess it's somebody's tape. Not quite a yard sale out there, but Hastings is trying to get rid of that. Finn Schmidt looking around. Thought about dodging, passing instead. Lynchburg down 12-7. 4:40 left to play in the third. Ooh, no angle over there. Are you kidding me? What a shot. A rifle in from Jake Rust. We said he's got all the shots. He's got all the angles, too. Caught the keeper by surprise. How much of the goal did he have to work with there? He's trying to get his group pumped, looking at the students up there in the dorms, trying to get them involved. Love it. Got to see this again, Joe.
And for the first time in a long time, the Hornets string back-to-back goals together. Now you really start to find a little bit of momentum.
They seemed to have a feel for that as well. At least judging by Jake Rust's reaction, you could tell he thought that was a pretty big goal. I mean, again, what kind of an angle did he have to score that one? This ball's still loose, not secured by anybody yet. Rough and tumble out here between the face-off men and the wingers.
So tough for those long poles to come out alive when you got that ball right underneath you. You never have the angle. Big no flag right there. Now it comes in late.
Yeah.
That'll be a hold on Lynchburg.
Tate Custer, face-off man, finally got it back for Gettysburg. He should feel real good about that. He paid the price physically to get that one back. Gettysburg can go here until Lynchburg touches it. Let's see how Lynchburg chooses to proceed. Nicholas Lindberg looking at the sideline for direction. Now he'll get started heading towards the goal. Stingy defense for Lynchburg.
Quincy's done a great job of that short stick defensive midi role today.
He has. Looking forward to seeing him more this season.
And when you've got obviously a lot of veteran talent of that group, also a couple of injuries right there. That's probably the most banged up spot for Lynchburg as of right now. They'll get healthier as they move along. Nothing too serious. Nevertheless, the freshman has really looked probably the best today out of that whole group. And you've got big names right there with guys like Parker Seeley who can really do great things for a team. But Quincy's earning himself some more playing time here today.
Yeah, Cole Zacharias, Gabe Menchaca, the two guys that I think Lynchburg fans probably know from years past. But you're right, we hadn't mentioned that yet. Lynchburg is not 100% full strength. They have been dealing with some injuries early in the season that have kept some guys out. Excellent point by you. Man-up opportunity for Gettysburg. We'll start with 3:31 left on the third quarter clock. 12-8. Game still not decided. I always go back to that 2015 matchup, Joe, because it was so memorable. Lynchburg erased a 7-goal deficit in that one. Now, of course, this is 10 years from then. You don't read too much into that, but still worth noting and always worth revisiting that game, one of the more legendary ones in Lynchburg history. Defenders got a piece of that one as it sailed high over the goal.
And Andrew Miller really wanted that one. He thought he had the attackman beat on the baseline.
Yeah, good scramble for that there. Gettysburg going to try again and succeed. Big blast from Jack Dunleavy. Gettysburg once again restoring some order to the game from their perspective, Joe. They take that momentum back every time Lynchburg looks like they're going to build it.
Obviously, you're still within reach if you're Lynchburg, but you would love to cut that deficit to 3 or 4 before you can get to the fourth quarter.
Jack Dunleavy, 11 multi-goal games last year. He's got another one this season. Here comes another one of these intense scrambles after the face-off. No clean wins there anymore for Lynchburg as the rain continues to pour down. Hard to see from our vantage point up here in the press box at Schellenberger Field. This rain's supposed to go all weekend and then snow next weekend, so February is proving to be an interesting month weather-wise. Gettysburg on the attack again, leading 13-8. Can't yield anymore if you're Lynchburg. You really can't. Bouncer came in there with pace, but was wide.
And Lynchburg catches a break right there. Some confusion on the defensive end. Left to Gettysburg player wide open.
Good setup here. Whistles blow as that one was flying. It'll be a Lynchburg possession. Andrew Miller looking around, thought about something deep. Instead, goes with the sure thing. As Lynchburg looks to clear. Kyler Mahoney. Now it's over here near side for Caden Hinchy. Hinchy still operating. He'll send it to the deep corner. Well, there's a long pass that was on target. Vandenberg looking around. Once again, back to your point, Joe, didn't opt to go quickly, decides to wait and let the offense get set up.
Vandenberg matched up with Barbera. He just wants to get it out of his stick, have somebody else give it a go.
Yeah, great point. Patience. Know your matchups. Turn and burn there from Parker Seeley, but he couldn't connect the dots.
You're not going to see a short stick defensive midi take a whole lot of rips at it, but he had a really clean look right there. That's a beautiful save by Hoy.
Gettysburg, they'll get the 6-on-6 ready here, 13-8. The Bullets advantage. Lynchburg with an adjustment there defensively. Jack Dunleavy back to the middle. Watch out to the doorstep, top shelf. Got it over Andrew Miller. He's got the arms extended, wondering where the defense was. It's another very, very good goal for Gettysburg. Too much room inside.
Gettysburg has done a phenomenal job moving off ball this afternoon. Right there, it's Jackson Hearn, the sophomore attackman out of Houston, Texas, finding the back netting once again today. Just a simple little C-cut around the crease. Nobody's home for goal number 14 on the afternoon. Now's when you start to sound the alarm a little bit if you're Lynchburg trailing by 6 in the waning moments of the third quarter.
Clean win by Riley Frankel. Another good job there by Frankel, junior from Durham, North Carolina. Getting the best of the face-off action today. Grant Voigt comes on. Jake Rust on. The first-year man, Van Tengway. Strength and conditioning man, Ed Smith, was talking about Tengway and how just as a freshman he is one of the quicker and stronger guys he's ever seen come on to Lakeside Drive in their first year. Tengway is going to give it back to Finn Schmidt. 28 seconds on the third period clock. Shot clock is insignificant. Jake Rust, rise and fire, but couldn't get that one by Murphy Hoey. Good save there.
And that was a great shot, and he stepped into it, had everything he needed behind it, but he just slung it right into Hoy's stick.
It was a long one that actually was close to being on net. Both teams are going to exchange punts here to end quarter number 3, it looks like. Still 1 second on the clock, actually. But Lynchburg will have to erase a 6-goal deficit in period number 4 if they want to get their first win of the season. Gettysburg in control on the road here at Lynchburg. A top 20 matchup going the Bullets' way so far. The conclusion coming up next on LHSN and Lacrosse TV.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
So class, in lieu of a pop quiz, we will instead have a pop tailgate. The NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships, May in Boston. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Fourth quarter about to crank up here on Lakeside Drive. Lynchburg will need to get busy as a comeback in the cards for the Hornets in game 1 of the 2025 season. 14-8, Gettysburg on top on the road. Kyle Haney and Joe Brennan. The goal-scoring barrage from Gettysburg has been impressive. You and I have both been impressed with their defense and the middies as well, Joe. That's where so much of the goal scoring has started. Gettysburg has taken advantage of some Lynchburg turnovers. And right now, the Bullets have things going their way.
Yeah, this one's been all Gettysburg thus far. Lynchburg in dire need of some momentum here in the fourth and final quarter in order to put themselves back into this contest. The first and third quarters have both been very competitive. It was the second quarter that's really been the difference maker. It was a 5-1 advantage for Gettysburg through those 15 minutes.
Great point by you about that second quarter. So important, Sam Steele. Trying to put the stick into the belly of Jackson Hearn, who has impressed. Multi-goal game for Jackson Hearn for Gettysburg. I think it's 5 Bullets that have multiple goals. I'm trying to run those numbers down for you here in a second. Andrew Miller with a good clean save. He'll look around. Miller's been under heavy duress at times. You and I have been impressed with what he's done at times back there in the cage for Lynchburg. Grant Voigt's going to try to barge his way across the midfield area.
And neither goalie has especially stood out when looking at them two together. Really comparable stats today. Just the biggest difference maker is Gettysburg has just gotten significantly more shots off, winning that category 21-13.
Quality looks too as Hastings came side questing through the defense, but missed the shot wide right. Lynchburg will hold on to it. 43 on the shot clock and 13-18 left to play in the game. So a deficit that there's time to erase, but you just have to play A+ lacrosse from here on out if you're Lynchburg. Vandenberg looking around, then tossing to Finn Schmidt. That's off the mark. Good effort there to bash it back forward, but Lynchburg is going to turn it over again.
Great move to evade the defensive midi right there in Sealy. Quick little side set move to get him across the timeline.
Charlie Johnson's going to take some time to study the defense. He's thinking about a dodge in. Instead just passes back up to the high right point. Johnson's going to get it back and look around. Gettysburg will set up the offense here, leading 14-8. Looking to maybe find the final nail to just put this one to bed.
That was a good two-man game right there from Gettysburg with Quincy White, a name we've said a whole lot today, defended it beautifully.
Yeah, Charlie Johnson, big crank there, sophomore from Connecticut, has looked really special at times today. You can see that rain coming down. Not an ideal condition for players or fans. I think the fans deal with it much worse. Those young guys, they don't seem to mind as much. Quincy again, sturdy stuff in the middle there.
Great
Quincy White.
defense.
Matt Crone back there with the takeaway for Lynchburg. See if the Hornets can build on that. Lynchburg's had glimmers and slivers of momentum. Just can't sustain it. Gettysburg has always had the answers to the Lynchburg questions.
And once again, I mean, we just haven't seen a whole lot of transition offense from Lynchburg here today. They had a good look at it right there with Quincy, but it seems like Kudelka and company are prioritizing getting their right personnel rather than just trying to get a quick shot off.
Cola Prandy at the top. Cam Ash ran on as well for Lynchburg. He's set up over here on the near left side. That's Liam Holman. He can be a damage player. He can be a difference maker kind of player for Lynchburg. He's been involved a lot here today. Lynchburg's lost it behind the goal. A scramble for it. Hornets trying to tear it back. How about that? That is some rugged lacrosse right there. Play's not over yet. Defense out of sorts, but what a save.
Yeah, that was a big hit behind X, but it also left him exposed, and Hastings does a good job of scooping it up and acting quickly, but a great stop right there from the keeper to get out in front of it.
Long pole in the mix. Pop passing around right to the doorstep. Absolutely surgical by Gettysburg in the transition game, and it was Charlie Johnson, the beneficiary of the great passing. That's about as easy of a catch-and-shoot tap-in as he's going to get. Outstanding from the Bullets on the run.
Well, if the Webster's Dictionary is taking GIFs or videos for their online dictionary, we can plug that one in for ball movement. Absolutely textbook right there from the Bullets. And that's exactly what you want. You move in transition, your long pole runs the point, you're playing 4-on-3 from that point, and it's bang, 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 quick passing that leaves someone wide open right on the edge of the crease.
Yeah, that's another one. You put that sequence on the tape if you're Gettysburg. You show that again and say this is what we want in the transition game. I would argue you say that's what we want on the defensive end there. They were rough and rugged. They did get out of position, Joe, but a great save. Then they get out and run. New face-off man for Lynchburg is Rocco Egan, a freshman from Hingham, Mass.
And what's so frustrating as a defensive coach is there's nothing you can do in that situation. It's very similar to basketball, where oftentimes there's great defense, but just better offense. And 9 out of 10 times, the offense is going to win when they execute, when you have the advantage in a 4-on-3.
Yeah, great call. As a defender, you're hoping they make a mistake and help you out in some way. Gettysburg did not. They took full advantage.
The only thing you can do in that scenario is, as a defender, anticipate the passes. You know what their next move is. Every offense is taught the same thing. You'll have the point attackman go out and run a wing. Then you have each player go to each side of the goal line extended. And you know wherever the strong side of the field is, that first attackman is getting the ball. So as a defender, your thinking is, I've got an extra 3 feet on my pole. I'm going to try and guess the passing lane and see if I can disrupt and either take it away or wait for help to come. And Lynchburg right there just couldn't do it. And on the other end, some physical defense and a Hornet down on the deck.
I think it was Finn Schmidt. Got in tight. Really had a good look, but denied there by Mitchell Hoey, who continues to impress for Gettysburg. He's made his better saves in half number 2 for the Bullets. 9 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter. 15-8 as the Bullets with more momentum. Lynchburg will have to go to work again defensively here. I think it's still Andrew Miller in goal for Lynchburg, Joe, but we'll keep an eye on that. This is the time of the game where you might see some changes. We've already seen a change at the face-off for Lynchburg. Yeah, that's still number 9, Andrew Miller there. Got a piece of that. Nice job. Saw it well. Couldn't corral it, but did nicely to stall it out and let the defense take over.
Had the alley on the near side, decides to roll back for his keeper.
Yeah, Miller with a little jaunt there. Jake Rust was on and calling for it. Rust still trying to get the ball. I love how Jake Rust is calling for the ball and trying to be more ball dominant. Rust has it on the far sideline now. He'll angle in. Whistles are going to blow and stop play. Lynchburg, unfortunately, has to give this one back.
Couldn't get in the box in time.
Yeah, ran out of time there on the advance. Part of the reason why Jake Rust, I think, wanted it so quickly, but then when he got the ball, it kind of seemed to be in third gear. I think maybe just lost track of the timer there as far as needing to advance to the offensive zone. Declan Mack, number 31 for Gettysburg. Saw him briefly in half number 1. He'll start things up top for the Bullets. Looking to shoot, may come from the left side. Oh, that popped out of the stick. Andrew Miller rising up high, climbing the ladder to snatch that one out of the sky for Lynchburg.
And that's just a simple poke check on the bottom hand by Steele. Does a great job of just messing with the attacker's rhythm. Lifting that backhand can really do a lot. It's not always the flashy checks, the de-twigging, the rusty gates, the can openers. A lot of time it's just simple little pestering movements that can really frustrate offensive players and dislodge that pearl.
Grant Voigt skipping into the action here, looking around. Left side, Voigt will spin. Couldn't get downhill, nice pass. Bobbled behind the back shot, got stymied away. Play on though, Lynchburg may have another look here on this sequence. And if they are entertaining comeback ideas, then they will have to make the most of every single possession.
What's been so interesting to see today is how Lynchburg has decided to attack on the offensive end. And it's really been a lot of running from at the top of the box and not a whole lot of movement going through X. You'll see a lot of college lacrosse teams like to go from that X spot and then try and find cutters that are coming down from up top. Meanwhile, Lynchburg has really tried to go with two-man game and a lot of pick and pops along with dodges down the alley.
It was Will Headley with a great defensive play on the other side for Gettysburg. Kind of came up with the sneak attack double. Lynchburg will get things restarted, though. Liam Holman at the top. And great points about the offensive activity for Lynchburg. You've got different options at your disposal, but I think you're really nailing it with your observations of what Lynchburg has tried today. Holman on the retreat, going to give this ball to Tang Wei. And we'll circle around to the far right side. Now Lynchburg will start from the X. Short passing there, just a tight window, and you don't soften up the defense enough there for that tight passes. Another D pole. Seen a few of those today, and the rain does contribute to that. Harder to hold on to it. Guys used to cut those gloves so you could get your skin on the pole, but I guess the NCAA doesn't like that anymore. They don't want you altering the equipment, I think might be the official technical phrase.
And Rust had his stick destroyed. Now he's going to the backup after the head was taken off the shaft. Rust kicked the head to the Lynchburg sideline. His twig is now out of bounds behind the Gettysburg keeper.
Jackson Hearn down the line here to Ethan Kessler. Kessler had 4 against Lynchburg last year in the season opener, 2 today. He's been a big contributor for the Bullets, who look to get win number 1 on the road. They were 3-5 on the road last season. This would be a fantastic start to the 2025 campaign for head coach Peter Toner. And a team that has high hopes, just like Lynchburg. If the scoreline stays, Lynchburg don't have to go back to the drawing board, but this is not going to make you feel great, and Lynchburg has yielded another one. Gettysburg doubling it up. Lynchburg again, 16-8, Bullets on top. I think it was Jackson Hearn again with another one for Gettysburg, Joe.
This one has been a clinic by the Gettysburg Bullets today. While they sit at 19th and 17th in each respective poll, I can confidently tell you they're going to keep climbing. This is a team that didn't lose a whole lot of production from a year ago. Graduated 2 seniors that were key starters, but other than that, really all their impact players returned for another season for the blue and orange. And right now, Gettysburg has shown a lot of promise on really both sides of the ball. I've been mainly impressed with their middies for both defense and offense, and that close D, I mean, they are. You can tell this is an experienced crew.
I think it's a statement game for Gettysburg on the national landscape. Like you mentioned their rankings, I think it's a statement, them saying, hey, we might be a little bit better than everybody thought. Now, of course, you expect that early in the season. Teams will impress that you weren't ready for. There's a Lynchburg goal, and they needed that. Charlie Evans on for the strike right there. Senior from Severna Park, Maryland, gets one into the cage. Yeah, just for the psychology and the emotions right now, Lynchburg, that was really big. Charlie Evans, I talked about his man-up expertise earlier. He can score in the regular situations, too. 16-9 after Charlie Evans' first goal of the season.
Well, you talk about a statement game for Gettysburg. They're going to have a handful of those to begin the season. In their first 5 games, they play 5 nationally ranked teams in the preseason poll. They play Salisbury in their next contest next Saturday at home. Then you play Stevenson on the road, Washington and Lee on the road, Christopher Newport at the Mustang Classic, which Lynchburg will also be in attendance for. I mean, there's going to be a whole lot of games that really show you how good this Gettysburg team can be come postseason time, because this is a squad that looks geared up and ready for the NCAA tournament.
They were ready for this one today. Declan Mack, first year. Going to jog around, under 3 to play now. 16-9. Gettysburg, you talked about that tough schedule. I mean, you don't want to really do the hypotheticals about, well, what if they could be 4-1? What if they could be 5-0? I think it's just a team to watch and keep your eyes on. But certainly they have the pieces. They have the tools. They were ready. You go on the road, too, here at Lynchburg. I mentioned the Hornets do not lose on this turf at Schellenberger very often.
And this game wasn't a must-win for either team by any means. And obviously that goes to say with the first game of every team across the country, no matter what division you're playing at, whether it's in the PLL or in high school ball, the first game of the season does not set the tone. You could win out the rest of your games, and I think last year really goes to show how true that is when you see Gettysburg with a win over Lynchburg in the first game last season, and Gettysburg, a team that didn't go to the NCAA tournament, the Hornets, a team that made it to the third round. So a whole lot of lacrosse left to be played this season, but for Gettysburg, you're certainly beginning the 2025 campaign on a great foot.
Well, and now the coaches, they've got more data. Yeah, you've scrimmaged, you've practiced, but now you can go back and say, yeah, I thought we were weak in this area and we were right. Or I thought we were weak in this area and we were wrong. We're pretty good there. Let's focus our attention here. Players now have the feedback, and you're going to get players that get more time based on performances today. Maybe some players that get less time based on what they've done today. There is going to be major learning done for Lynchburg. They'll have a week of practice, and they will get ready for Pfeiffer.
And I will say the one area of concern for Gettysburg is without a doubt the center circle, because at face-offs today, this team struggled, and you are not going to be a team that can contend for a national championship or a deep postseason run if you can't win your face-offs. And coming in, that was something that Coach Toner was adamant about expressing, is that there were some question marks and a little bit of uncertainty between the pipes and at face-off. And today, the keeper did pretty well for what was thrown at him, but in the face-off, granted, you're playing a strong Lynchburg team that is definitely dominant in that aspect of the game, and you're still able to come away with a win, but you don't know if that's going to be the case every time.
Timeout on the field. Gettysburg will take it. Shot clock was winding down. Andrew Miller vacated the cage for Lynchburg, but Gettysburg couldn't really get anything going offensively. So we'll keep it here because the game is almost done. Let's talk about some positives for Lynchburg, Joe. I mean, what have you seen? We've seen some standout players, so all is not lost for Lynchburg. They're going to take this. They're going to learn. They're going to build.
I thought when the ball moved quickly, their offense moved really, really well. And that goes from the midfield unit to the attackman. And whether it was the first line of minis or the second line of minis or the third, it was really apparent that this offense operates best when the ball is moving quickly. And I think that's one thing that you can take from this game and really try and build off of. On the flip side, I was impressed by how the new defensive group for the closed defense played. I think these are three new faces, and you have a freshman in that mix along with seniors and juniors that haven't gotten to start a whole lot of contests during their collegiate tenure. But guys like Sam Steele really impressed me today, someone that did a great job in one-on-one matchups when he was isolated in an island. So it's good for Ben Johnson and Coach Kadelka to have some faith in that defensive unit, but at the same time, you've got to clean up the defensive play from your midfield.
Yeah, Kyler Mahoney stood out to me at times, and you're right. Midfield needs to get better for Lynchburg. They're going to get some pieces back. That will help as they get healthier.
Now, what can you do here on a 4-on-3 break? Nothing.
Big swipe from Matt Crone.
But a different way to play it as a defense is they said, we're going to let the long pole beat us. If you can knock one in from 15 yards away, be our guest. We're not going to let you get a wide open one on the doorstep.
Down to 15 seconds left to play in what was a sloppy, messy weather day. The game at times was sloppy. At other times, Gettysburg looked like they were in mid-season form. They'll just toss the ball up high here at the end of it.
Can you believe this Gettysburg team hadn't started practice since February 1st? Looks like they've been playing together for years, and a big reason because they have so many returners, and it showed.
It did show today. An impressive result for the Gettysburg Bullets. They take down Lynchburg 16-9 in what was a cold Saturday, but Gettysburg is going to be feeling warm as they head back to Pennsylvania. For Lynchburg, They don't need to go back to the drawing board, but not the result the Hornets were looking for to start this season. Lynchburg 0-1. Gettysburg 1-0. Both teams are in action next Saturday, as we have mentioned. Gettysburg will host Salisbury in what will be a top 20 matchup, and Lynchburg will host a team that they eliminated from the postseason last year, the Pfeiffer Falcons. Joe Brennan, final thoughts, man. This was fun. I mean, we were warmer than the fans and the players were, although we've got an open window up here in the press box. But I'm so glad lacrosse season is here. Again, if you're Lynchburg, this has got to sting, but you can't hold it with you too long. You have to get back to work and get ready for the rest of the season. And like you said, you get different results at the beginning of the year, not necessarily indicative of how the entire season is going to go.
But you get a week off, a week to adjust, and come up with a new game plan for a team that is also a tournament team in Pfeiffer, and then really gear up for the number 2 team, I should say, in the country in Salisbury coming to town. 3 home games. That's really important. If you can win 2 out of 3 and build that foundation, you feel really, really good. And a win over a top 2 team in the country really negates a loss here today if the Hornets can come away with it. Nevertheless, I mean, they'll go on to play Denison and 2 top 20 teams in Stevenson and CNU at the Mustang Classic. So a difficult non-conference schedule ahead of Lynchburg, and they'll need some corrections if they want to come out with a ranking next to their name through their first 5 games.
Yeah, it's game 1 of 17 for Lynchburg, 1 of 8 at home. The first 3 are at home, as you mentioned. That Denison game is the first one on the road. That'll be March the 9th. Got basically a month until ODAC play cranks up. Nothing's going to be easy for Lynchburg, though, and they know they've got a bit of a target on their back in the lacrosse world. This Hornet team, always successful, always good. They're always going to get everybody's best punch. They're always going to give their best punch, but today, not Lynchburg's day, as Gettysburg wins it 16-9. Shall we end it there, Joe? You got to get ready for basketball. I got to get ready for women's lacrosse. It's a full day here on campus. Exciting stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
Big thank you to our camera crew. I mean, they're out there braving the elements, and braving is maybe not even a big enough word, Joe. I mean, we subjected them to some punishment today.
They were going through it.
We got to at least get them a hot chocolate or a hot coffee or something. But, yeah, take care, lacrosse fans. We appreciate you watching. Gettysburg 1-0 on the season after beating Lynchburg 16-9. Thank you for watching on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network and Lacrosse TV.